We hope you enjoy the show.
Minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Space Boy Universe, featuring Space Boy and the lovely Solana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I am Space Boy, and across from me is the lovely Solana, and this is Space Boy Universe. It is May the 18th. Man, this year is going by quickly, right, Solana? And we're on show number 3-something, where our guest tonight is Bill Lutz, artist extraordinaire. We're going to be bringing him on about 9:30 Central Standard Time, so definitely tune in for that. As always, follow us on Twitter. That's at the SBU Universe. Follow Solana at Solana. Follow me, Spaceboy, at Spaceboy Music. Make sure to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. In addition to Twitter, you can find us all over social media. Just search for Spaceboy Universe. Hey, Space Cadets, you'll want to check out the YouTube channel. That's right, we do more than the archive of shows there. There is video content from SB Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. So hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when new content is available. Can't catch a show live? No problemo. Take the SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify, because, man, we like the broadcast. And on that magical note, let me bring in the lovely Solana. Hello, Solana. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
Are you all juiced up from candy eating over there, or?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, you don't sound excited.
I don't know what to tell you.
Could we, maybe be more peppy, or?
Well, it's been a rough week. We've lost some people.
That is true. I mean, a lot of people got lost.
A lot of people.
And animals, too.
And animals. Well, Doris Day was 97. Mm-hmm. Tim Conway, another comedy legend. And I believe you wanted to talk about or mention
Stanton Friedman.
Yeah.
A big loss to the UFO community. A man that, what separates him from all the others is basically, he was a bona fide nuclear scientist.
Mm-hmm. He was legit.
He was the real McCoy as far as, credibility was concerned. And so here was a man who basically had done a lot of research out there and many conferences. In fact, we got to meet him, as he came. Well, I did. You were off in a freezer somewhere in Arizona.
I don't feel the need to meet people ever.
No, and heat is on that list. If heat was a person, then you would definitely avoid it at all costs. Mm-hmm. So, needless to say, I got a picture with Stanton Freeman, and it was kind of really cool because to actually meet somebody.
I did read the book he co-authored with, I guess, the relative of, the UFO book where the first.
Betty White. It wasn't Betty White. It was Betty
and Barney Hill.
Thank you very much, Betty White.
Yeah, Betty and Barney Hill.
As far as I know, Betty White is still alive. But
that was a freaky experience, and I know he was involved in getting that story told out there.
So anyway, he will be sorely missed in the UFO community, and because he brought a lot of legit credibility, and
He did.
yeah. So, but going from that,
And then we've lost Grumpy Cat, unfortunately, whose real name was Tartar Sauce. It was a female cat. It passed away from complications of a urinary tract infection that they just couldn't get ahead of it and solve it. And they tried everything they could, but unfortunately, these things happen, and that makes me a little nervous because that's happened to Muffin twice. So I put her on a special food, dry and wet food, to help prevent urinary tract infections, so she won't get it again. But that was rough. That's a modern day icon gone. Maybe not on the level of Tim Conway, but pretty close. For some people, that's about the same.
all right. So here's my bad joke of the evening. Fox has announced it has canceled Empire. I really hope that Jesse doesn't beat himself up over this. Okay, so we're moving on. I know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's all right. We'll talk later about it. There's a few people that might have got the joke. But anyway, anything else that might be
I've been scouring my usual places, and just truth to tell, there's plenty of news, but I'm not interested in any of it. But I'll go ahead and tell you some things anyway, despite the fact I'm not I'm not deeply moved. But some things caught my eye. Microsoft and Sony form cloud gaming and AI partnership. I thought this was a bit different. So Sony and Microsoft are normally rivals in most things. Like Sony's got the PlayStation, Microsoft has Xbox. So you see this as a bit weird right away. So
it could be they're just advancing the next level of gaming because.
I don't know that it's gaming. They're going to explore joint development of future cloud solutions in Microsoft Azure to support respective game and content streaming services. So Sony has an existing game and content streaming service, and it's going to be powered by Microsoft. So I thought that's kind of interesting. So they're going to try to build a better platform for the content creator community. And it's a pretty big deal because the main cloud serving rival is actually Amazon for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we talked about Google was going to do something called Stadia game streaming service, because I don't know what's going on. We've got Twitch for this, but I've noticed more and more people are looking for something else other than YouTube, and I think Twitch, which Amazon does own Twitch.
With all the crap that's been going down with YouTube and
YouTube has gone crazy.
Yeah.
You and I watch PewDiePie because he's become more. He's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on as a content creator, and he reports it more kind of like a newsy thing. But he shows tweets and social media posts from other YouTube channel owners that say, my channel just got banned for such and such a time because of, they says, well, actually I don't know why, because they didn't send me indication of why my channel was taken down. They just did it and told me after the fact. And so, as Pew said so succinctly, they take down first and you ask questions later. So he himself has given up streaming on YouTube to go to DLive, which is a really interesting platform that we talked about this briefly months and months ago, maybe even last year.
Yeah.
So that's something, and it's like Twitch, and it's like your live streaming, except you as the viewer have the option to reward your favorite content creator on there and give them points, which directly translates to monetary rewards for them. So it's something you and I are going to look into more deeply, because if we'd like to do some live streaming games.
I just want to give everyone an example of a show that we did when we did the McCarthy show about Joseph McCarthy. That show, they would not let us monetize, I guess, because of the subject matter.
Which is weird.
And then
it's history.
Yeah, it was a history show. And then we did the show about conspiracy theories. And
we were talking about them in a almost documentary-like way. We weren't promoting conspiracy theories. We weren't talking about, you hear this one? We
weren't talking about how the president is a lizard.
Yeah, we were trying to break down the concept, where it came from, how it got the reputation it did, and where we are now. They didn't like it. So there is plenty opportunity for another platform service to come up and
really
take the place.
YouTube really did it to themselves. Or it could be Google did it to YouTube.
Yeah.
Which
I could see that this alternative might be something for Spaceboy Universe, depending on back-end costs. So we've got to look into it. But it's very active. I just checked it out before we went on air, just kind of browsing in there.
Sure.
It's as active as Twitch is. So, and it's built on, guess what? Blockchain technology, as most things are now.
Yes, that's the wave of the future. Which, speaking of cryptocurrency update, the little small pocket change that I put into my cryptocurrency options has increased. From my initial $200 investment that I put into cryptocurrency, I'm now sitting at $250. So I'm pretty jazzed that that's worked out.
It's just like playing the stock market, but with just intangible concepts.
And I guess surprisingly, the biggest jump in the money that I've invested in this has been Ethereum. Is the one that was started off small as far as money is concerned, and has really surprised me in the long run with a little bit of extra cash. And it probably would have been closer to 290 because I used some cryptocurrency and cashed it out to fund our new Wednesday habit now. So
You're funny.
Well, lately, let's tell the audience. So lately I've been watching videos like I always do, and this is not a video that I haven't watched in the past. It's just kind of made me more interested in it since I've been kind of enjoying the coin pushing games and things like that. And this guy named Arcade Matt is what his current version of what he's calling himself on YouTube. He does a lot of these claw games, these coin pushing games, and anything with a little bit of skill to it. He plays, and then of course he plays other games that not like arcade games, like the old days, like
carnival games.
Yeah, carnival games, yeah, kind of thing. And he goes to these different places like a Dave & Buster's, and then there's other places
locally owned arcade things. Like, But I think it's an attempt for you and I to just shake up our routine, get out of this house, and just do something for entertainment rather than just sitting here and wallowing like a 95-year-old couple, which we're not.
So has that been like a mission accomplished, would you say?
Yeah, it's been fun. When you and I went this week, we got some jackpots that we didn't expect to get.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, but I want to credit watching Arcade Matt to kind of give me.
I wouldn't mind talking to him, but I don't think he'd do an interview. But
the thing is that it was enjoyable watching him play these games and kind of show you kind of like how to play it. And I applied those same skills when it came to that claw game with the tickets in it.
And I learned that there are different games. When you go to a place like Dave & Buster's or Main Event or whatever it's called in your area, different games do different things. There's games that give you tickets so you can go buy stupid crap, or you just put your credits in and it's just strictly for fun and you don't get anything back, like the racing games that you go and you drive a car. You don't get anything back. Those the shoot 'em up games, those you don't get anything back. If we go back, you played one not this week, but last time we went. It was really interesting. You stepped into this pod and shut the door, and it was like almost a 360, not quite full 360. Curved screen, and it was so the display was happening all around you, and you were
Star Wars
flying some kind of
flying an X-wing.
You were flying an X-wing, and you were going. I don't know if you're blowing up the Death Star or what.
Yeah, it was
but
Death
I
Star,
was like, man, this is cool. I want to play this. I know I'd suck at it, but yeah, just finding a way to divert ourselves, have a good time, and plus Dave and Buster's is like not far from us. It's on the way home, so I mean we could just meet up and do whatever. And although I think next time we meet up, I'm going to go straight to Whataburger and then I'll meet you there.
Not a bad idea. I was thinking that too. Hit Whataburger before.
But what we did have is when we went there, we went. I partook of some appetizers there at Dave and Buster's. I got chicken and waffle sliders. So it had like a little waffle was the bun, and there was a chicken finger in between, which was slathered with some sweet sauce, and a smoked bacon on top of it.
I was impressed with that waffle because it had a nice.
It was crunchy,
taste. It had
golden,
yes.
And they brought syrup for you to dip it in.
Maple syrup, that was good.
So yeah, for an appetizer, it was basically a meal. I mean, and I was giving you stuff like, this is too much food, you know?
Well, I had hot dogs in a blanket. They were
pretzel dogs.
Pretzel dogs, that's what it was. But they were pretty enjoyable. I think, since I started the new job, I wanted to do a change up with our routine since basically
your job's close to Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. I was going to say since Dave and Buster's is kind of pretty much on the way home for both of us. And so, just stopped there, had a couple of cherry Cokes, and just had a nice little evening of playing a few games and a little snack. So,
what was I going to tell you real quick?
I sound like an alien.
Something caught my eye here. I didn't read this article yet, but it says NASA spacecraft spots doomed lunar lander's crash site on the moon's surface. So I was like, what is this all about? So some NASA spacecraft that's in orbit around the moon actually spotted a crash site, and they said it was of an Israeli robotic lander named Bereshit, and that's Beresheet. Unless you think I'm saying something bad, which slammed into the lunar surface during a botched landing attempt back in April, which I guess is last month?
Mm-hmm.
That left a dark 10-meter-long smudge across the surface of the moon where it hit and disintegrated. I'm like, how did they even see that? I'm seeing like an animated GIF,
right.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
Something or someone interrupted a command that was being input and sent to the computer, and it chain reacted and just, crashed. So, and it was 11 days after it crashed. Then, of course, we have a reconnaissance orbiter circling the moon. It's ours. It's NASA's, and I guess it keeps an eye on stuff. But I thought that was interesting that it found. I guess nothing escapes its gaze up there.
Well, interesting that you bring up the topic of the moon. Oreo is going to celebrate the moon landing with a limited edition cookie. And it's kind of interesting because it looks like they went to Hobby Lobby and bought the little stuff to put on the cookie. It's got a half moon on it, and then
that's cool.
Some stars that circle around the cookie itself. Those little metal plates. Yeah, I should have posted this to the thing, but it should be all good. Cookies. Hopefully,
it's Oreo.
It's an Oreo. So, astronauts to the moon.
Oh, God. Where did they find a giant Oreo cookie GIF? I don't even know where you found that. Oh my gosh. So we're going to go see John Wick tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m.
To continue on with our diversion
Tactics.
to try something different, get out of our routine.
Yes, indeed. I was trying to find one more thing, but I don't know what it is. I'm just not interested in anything this week. I don't know why.
This week we found out that Disney has officially purchased out Hulu. Hulu
It's
is
funny
now.
you mention. I just saw it. Comcast is giving Disney full control of Hulu, which I didn't know they had. Well, I guess it makes sense.
There were several different partners, and AT&T owned a small little chunk.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I remember when Hulu first came out, was first available. It was free, and it was sort of a free-for-all, and it was awesome. Then somebody came in and said, oh, no, you need to pay for content. And that's when I was like, I don't need Hulu anymore.
Hulu, yeah, it was like innovative, and but at first the program watching anything on it sucked because the buffering was just...
Yes, and then the ads.
And then,
The only truly ad-free experience I have...
It's like, enjoy this episode of whatever.
It's
brought to you by this commercial.
Well, they the only ad-free thing I have is YouTube because I pay for it, and Spotify because I pay for it. And it's worth because it's worth it not to have to watch the same ad over and over and over and over on YouTube.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Oh, there's the picture. Thanks, Bob. See how I was talking about the Hobby Lobby thing?
I like that, though. It's like a half moon and stars.
I'd hate to bite
Hopefully it's
into
not like an Illuminati thing.
Well, I don't know.
It.
I'm still looking at that poor girl up at the top chowing down on that
a giant
tire-sized cookie and all that milk.
That's weird. They're saying that it's choppy and that get your mic a little more something. Your mic.
Oh, my mic?
Yeah.
Is it too loud? What is it?
I don't know.
Is this... I don't want to go in too close because, my voice is very vibrato bass.
Yeah, you're very bassy. In fact, I've tried to listen to some of our back shows, and you're so bassy, I can't listen to the show. It hurts my ears. But then, I don't feel like I'm missing out. It's here.
I'm not missing it, Bob.
No.
Here, is this better?
Marshmallow Moon Oreos.
That probably will kick it into overdrive right there. How's that? Does it sound more bassy? Yeah, there you go, Gene. Boom.
Better.
Yes. I think I turned the bass down completely.
Yeah, you don't need it. Although I need it, and then if you could actually make me sound like someone else, that'd be perfect.
Well, we only know one way to do that. Oh, I like that. The cookie has an astronaut on it. See the one, another one, K-28 posted there.
and a space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
I want these cookies. Where are these cookies? They're not out yet?
I don't know. Well, I'll fill you in on the details later.
Okay.
And so you can get your moon cookies on.
It's from Oreo. Marshmallow Moon launching Apollo-themed cookies for the landing.
Well, June, what is it? The landing on the moon was in June 8th, was it? Or something like that?
Oh, they're also going to do a Ben & Jerry's flavor.
What is the Ben & Jerry's flavor, Oreo flavored? Or?
Yeah, it's the Oreo Marshmallow Moon Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Oh, psychedelic cookies.
Greetings and salutations to our Space Cadet goddess Michelle. So glad to see you.
Bev, Bob, K28, and Miss Michelle are over in our Spaceboy embedded web chat on our site. And then hello to Gene and Eric over in Spreaker chat. Very nice to see both of you. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a Bigfoot sighting to see Eric, which is so awesome. When I have been listening to those stories you shouldn't be listening to while you're trying to fall asleep, like something happened in the woods, cryptids.
Well, that explains all the snoring.
Evil, big feet, Bigfoot, 23-foot tall tree creatures. Yeah, it's just no wonder I have bad dreams. But yeah, I don't know. I get a kick out of listening to some of those for some reason because I have no intentions of being camping in the woods or being in a tent unless I'm homeless. So I feel comfortable listening to those because I'll never be in that circumstance. But
yeah, but I shouldn't listen to them because I turn on the blue light that disturbs you.
the Doctor Who lamp is fine as long as it's not every night. What upsets me is when it's dark and you have your iPhone flipped over where it's, face up. You have this bright light coming off your phone. I hate that.
I don't know why you get so upset about that when you.
I hate it. I need it to be dark.
When you have your phone on, and I can look over there and I can see.
That's why I started putting that pillow wall up so you wouldn't see that.
See, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone back to Switzerland in our house, and she says that she's put a barrier there. I think it's just waiting for the opportunity to smother me, to kill me. So
I've put a pillow there to keep whatever I'm doing out of your face.
Oh, I see.
You won't see whatever I'm doing. I have this one website I go to, and it's web page based. It doesn't have an app. So, and it's white background with text. And I have another app that does the same thing, but it's actually black background, white text, but I don't have that option for this one place I go to. So that's why you're seeing that. And it's too hot to get under the covers fully like I used to.
Well, that's right, because the summer is getting ready to start cooking here in Houston. And
K28 linked me something on Facebook about...
Was it the jet stream?
Yeah, get ready because we're going to have thunderstorms, lightning, hail, tornadoes, damaging winds, floods. I'm like, fire, brimstone, frogs, plagues. Let's just bring it all on to Texas because we can deal with it. I mean, come on. I mean, we've survived worse. Just bring it on. Well, we can handle it.
Hey, and a lot of that, Houston compared to Dallas-Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth gets it a lot worse than we do as far as
Which is strange because we're sitting almost just barely above sea level in a swamp, and we're not even supposed to be here, meaning humans are not supposed to be here in this spot because it's effing up the natural draining patterns where this would all be fine. It would take care of itself if we weren't living here. That's what I read. Mm-hmm. The fact that there's a city here really screws things up, and that's why you get these floods and 500-year floods, and then Harvey. It's like we weren't supposed to be here anyway, And then I moved here like an idiot. So
I wouldn't say you were a complete idiot moving here.
No, it was probably less intelligent for me to move all the way down within 5 miles of Johnson Space Center. That's even further down, lower down to sea level. But we move more west and north.
All right, we got a couple more minutes to the bottom of the hour, but let's go ahead and kick this in effect. And when we come back, we'll be talking to our guest tonight, Bill Lutz, artist extraordinaire. So don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mama Nim I said hi.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Ronnie.
You know, the one thing I've learned, Solana, over the years that
pay attention.
Pay attention. Do not let K28 distract you with chat. It's like, what's going on with K28 tonight? Anyway, welcome back, everyone. We are doing a live show, and hopefully we've resolved the technical difficulties that we had last week, which, it was just a mess, and we apologize. But tonight we have Bill Lutz on, and Bill, would you like to introduce yourself? I know you've been on the show before. You know, I wished I had gone and researched when the last time. Do you recall the last time you were on?
I
was on maybe about 2 months ago, maybe.
Has it been 2 months?
Maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's right.
Okay, Bill.
I think it's been a while, actually.
It feels like forever. But anyway, go ahead and bring us up to date with a new bio and about yourself, and introduce yourself to the Space Cadets.
Well, my name is Bill Lutz. I am an artist, graphic designer, video editor, IT instructor, illustrator, and cartoonist, and all-around insane Pinky and the Brain fan. I've been an independent illustrator, cartoonist, video editor, graphic artist for some time. I do professional work, and I've done it for fun and independence for like the past 3 decades. I graduated from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I have a degree in illustration and design, and I have a minor in creative writing. I also have a degree in information technologies, and I am slowly but surely working for my master's in IT. I teach computer networking as well as website design, and I'm a huge comic book fan. I draw comics for a living as well. My biggest thing is I was a big fan of the Fantastic Four. It was the first comic book I ever purchased. And that's how I learned how to draw, by going to SBA. I've been working, I said, professionally for some time right now. I've done fan-based stuff. I've done some commercial work. I have a couple clients I'm working for right now that I'm doing comic book graphic novels for. Trying to build my own concept up, which is called The Return of the Frontiersman, which is something I've been working on for decades. I am a complete sci-fi geek, nut, whatever you want to call me, space cadet if you want. Love Star Trek, love Star Wars. I don't fight between the two. I love them both. I'm a big Dune fan. I love reading all the stuff by Frank Herbert and his sons. I like the entire saga. Prefer some good animation. I prefer the classic animation from Warner Brothers and Disney back in the days before we had computers. Although there's some anime I do like. I'm not a big anime fan except for a TV show called Space Battleship Yamato, which I just really love. Like a lot of the 80s and 90s cartoons, big Thundercats fan here. I think the Marvel movies are great. I have seen Avengers Endgame. Personally, I think it was the best Marvel movie ever. I love all the ones coming up, but this was the most satisfying, even though I got a little annoyed with some of the things happened to it. As a big Pinky and the Brain fan, I am a big believer in world global domination, but the best way to do it is through beer, cheese, and chocolate. And finally, I run a small comedy concept movie called Dragon Phoenix Media. We're in a little bit of a back pause right now, but we're still trying to get stuff out. And I'm also looking for work from artists, and from people who need artists, like the graphics, illustration, cartooning, web design. And most of your cadets know last time there, I am a video editor. I'm doing work currently for Techno Fear Productions, and I'm editing the premiere episodes of Sweepers and Challenger and whatever else that comes in our plate there.
So how did you get connected with the whole Outer Rim in general?
Well, I got involved in the Outer Rim through another fan-based company that was doing Star Trek, and then that's where I met Jim and Joe Gray. And again, the first time I ever recall meeting Jim was we were putting makeup on Klingons. He was showing me how to do it because he's an extraordinary makeup artist. But I remember last time I told you he made me up as an alien in Challenger, and I looked like a gray thing, and it was just the makeup was so brilliant. I loved it. And I was running around. I looked like a gray thing, a cross between the Hulk and the Thing, and I was running around yelling "Big Smash" half the time. That one I was trying to be DP of the pro show, but I was dressed up in makeup half the time. It was really, really cool.
So how is your video production going with those projects?
Sweepers is almost finished. It's special effects issues, but we're still working on trying to get that resolved out. As I explained the last time, we had some issues with special effects. We fixed them. We're getting them done. Personally, I myself have learned a lot. The last time I talked to you guys, I actually got certified in After Effects.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Level, so I'm building that up. Still, my mental goal is to do CGI modeling once I get into it. Learning more about Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, all the video editing softwares. I've pretty much got a better eye for it. Again, I treat everything when I'm doing it's like comic book. It's got to flow. It's got to flow straightforward through. So I've done a lot more research, done a lot of stuff, and I collaborate with the team on Technofear, and we're just trying to get it out. It's just like that special effects are a big issue. Young company, we take our baby steps. We know what we have to do to fix for the next episode, and we go forward.
Yep, that's the best advice you can give people when you got kind of a mountain ahead of you, just one step at a time. Eventually you'll get to the top, and that's what I remind myself all the time. But so your love of comics, when did that all start?
Back in 1976, when I purchased my first issue of Fantastic Four, number 176, The Return of the Impossible Man. That was one of the craziest comics I ever read, but it was drawn by George Perez, who is one of my favorite comic book artists. The man is recently retired, and I just loved reading them. And then I started picking them up and reading, and figured, when I was drawing, I think, wait, I can draw this. And I started drawing it, and the rest became history. Now I have pretty much the entire run of Fantastic Four because I collect those comics. I'm still missing a couple issues. Still wanting to get Fantastic Four 1, but if anybody's got $1,500 they want to give, that would be great.
So with the future of the Marvel Universe out there, do you think that they might be tapping the Fantastic Four, or at least Richards to come on board to make an appearance?
I think it would be beneficial for Marvel and Kevin Feige to finally bring the Fantastic Four in done right. Fox movies has slaughtered it beyond reproach, and I think what they need to do is slowly introduce the FF. I was kind of hoping that the next big bad would be Galactus, and that would be a great way of introducing the Fantastic Four. But you got to give it time with this Marvel Universe Phase 4. People are still recovering from Endgame, and now we've got other stuff coming up after it. And I'm hoping that the next big bad is Galactus, because it would just be perfect.
Yeah, I'd heard rumors to the effect about
this. About Galactus must be next.
But it had to do with the Silver Surfer, and
right.
Yeah. So
Galactus and the Silver Surfer were introduced in Fantastic Four 48 to 50, and that's when we met them. And Galactus, of course, is the World Devourer. He's basically a giant farmer. He eats the world. He culls the universe. He eats the planets that just don't make it. And apparently, Earth, for some reason, has always survived Galactus. Must be the Marvel superheroes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I personally enjoyed the Fantastic Four when they had Alba and I called him the Commish. Can't think of his name right now, but
of course I call Reed Richards Horatio Hornblower.
I thought those were great. I think the best thing was the actors nailed the characterizations of the comic book characters. It was just done on such a limited budget, and I don't know what Fox was trying to do. I mean, they nailed the Fantastic Four right, but Dr. Doom was atrocious. And it wasn't the actor's fault. It was just the way he was written. I mean, Dr. Doom is like Darth Vader squared. I mean, come on, get it right. You know what I mean? And that last movie,
with the younger
last movie, Dr. Doom. Oh
yeah.
My God, Dr. Doom was like cross between Saran wrap and a crash dummy.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a poorly done version of the Fantastic Four. They tried to put a younger cast in there, and it didn't quite succeed on a level that it should have.
And I won't even go into the way the Thing was portrayed. It was just, that was bizarre. I mean, he was naked. That was weird.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a uniform. It's like, why? Did they even read the comic book? That was just what I was bothered about. Did they even read the comic book when they did this?
Well, Bill,
I was wrong on every level.
When you get executives like Kathleen Kennedy that come in and try to put their own spin on things and push their secret agendas, that you get movies like that.
Yeah, I know how you feel about the Star Wars movies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hoping Episode 9 fixes everything, and makes it good. Because although I found 8 to be an enjoyable science fiction movie, it wasn't Star Wars. And 7 was just a rehash of 4. I was expecting that, But 9, it looked kind of good. And then, of course, the laughter at the end of the trailer, I cheered.
Yeah.
I cheered. I please let him not be a hologram. Let him come back real. Please let him come back real. I will be so happy if it's Palpatine.
Well, I'm definitely hoping that J.J. Abrams pulls a rabbit out of his hat for this one, and because he's definitely had a lot of control over the shape of what the ninth film is going to be, and so we'll just wait and see how it all comes down, and hope for the best. But the thing that I personally am happy is that Rian Johnson is not going to be coming out with his trilogy. So he's
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you on that. I just didn't think that I don't know what. Again, good science fiction story, not Star Wars. He didn't even have the fades and the wipes and the swipes that Star Wars movies usually have. Mm-hmm. That was what's entertaining about them, Star Wars started, you go back to episode 4, it's like watching Buck Rogers. I mean, if you were alive during then, I only saw reruns. My folks used to.
Yeah,
I'm not that old.
I think we're older than
talk about it. It was the same thing. And, but, I mean, and I don't like the way they characterize Luke Skywalker. I mean, I was happy to see Yoda in episode 8. That was, cool. And I was pleased with Frank Oz doing Yoda and everything and giving it back to, all right, there's a time. There's Yoda. Okay, I can buy that. I don't know what they did wrong. I don't know what they were thinking. I just think, we all know what they were thinking. The dollar signs. It was the dollar signs.
Yeah, I want another thing out of that movie that just kind of frustrated me is how they used the ship to go into hyperspace to destroy a good portion of the ship that Snoke was on, and that had never been done before. And it leaves you. Why did they do that? Why didn't they do that before when they were faced with others? Why did they do it when the Death Star was an issue? And I just didn't like that. And if anybody should have, whose death would have had meaning, would have been Admiral Akbar instead of what's her name, Hearn that played Hudo or whatever her character's name was.
Oh yeah, I was like, okay, another actress wants to be in Star Wars. I would agree it would have been more fun if it was Admiral Akbar instead of him getting sucked out of space, where then Princess Leia does her immaculate resurrection floating through the vacuum. That was disturbing.
It was.
That was, wow, more powerful than any Jedi I've ever seen. You can live in the vacuum.
Yeah,
But that being said, I'm hoping.
I think I agree with you.
Episode 9 is a good one.
I'm going to stay positive, and we'll see, and move beyond the hatred that has boiled in the fan community over what Rian Johnson did. But
I just feel sorry for you, Spaceboy, that you don't have a friend to go see it with, because I'm so not interested.
What? I have my best friend to go with.
Yourself?
No.
Well, you know what? This hatred's now going over to Game of Thrones. I've never even watched that. But I'm sitting there laughing like, wow, these guys are like, I've seen this before with Star Trek and Star Wars. It's really rewrite the whole season so you can feel better? Give me a break.
It is great.
I'm laughing.
Sometimes you just don't get what you want.
I've never seen the show. Yeah, I've never seen the show. I honestly have really not have any interest. A lot of friends have told me it's phenomenal, and maybe I will check it out eventually.
Oh, I like hearing that, Bill, because I, too, am like, I'm not interested in the show. I don't want to read the books. It's not my cup of tea. Everybody, please stop. Just shut up about it, please. Thank you. They're trying to convince me, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, actually, neither am I. I mean, I watched the first season, and then they killed off the lead character. But, I know it was designed to shock everybody, and then, here they're talking about winters coming and demons and ghouls. I'm just watching people struggling through the winter. I'm thinking, okay, this is all right. And then I decided, I'm just not really into it this time. And I never got into Game of Thrones. And everyone's telling me to love it, but from what I'm hearing, everybody hates this last season. They feel like they got robbed. And I just feel like, wow, this is like Star Trek and Star Wars all over again.
Well, interesting you bring up Star Trek. Even though you probably didn't.
Well, everybody. Yeah, I mean, remember the great hatred when JJ took over Star Trek and he rebooted with the pretty cast, and things got really random. And then Khan, of course, goes from being a Sikh Indian to a British pale white dude, and you're figuring, huh?
Right.
So you that was the big there then, and then of course we have to talk about Star Wars, and now apparently Game of Thrones, and I don't know.
Well, what really surprised me is that if we're going to have to trace down the fandom down to a point the singularity, if you will, when the fans kind of lost their crap, is Ghostbusters with the four ladies that like the reboot, if you will, that took over, and the fandom for that went nuts, especially over what's her name from Saturday Night Live, which Jones. I can't think of her full name.
I know who you're talking about.
But anyway, from that point on, it just seemed like there was this crack.
I went and saw the Lady Ghostbusters. I thought it was a good movie. I wasn't great. The only one that actually made impact was Chris Hemsworth, because who knew Thor could do comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
he stole that movie away from them.
Yeah, he was hysterical. Who knew? But I think that this whole idea that you have to remake a movie just so that one set gets to do it for the other is crazy. I mean, you got to judge people on how they act and who they are, not because. Well, I don't want to get into that. I did like the Lady Ghostbuster movie. I thought it was good.
It was fun.
Special effects were great, and Hemsworth was hysterical. And I did like what's her name, who played she's Saturday Night Live all the time. She played Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Kate McKinnon, yeah.
Kate McKinnon is phenomenal. That woman is an excellent comic. Anything she does is hysterical. And playing really that psychopath scientist with the guns, I thought this was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I enjoy her comedy styles. I'm like you. I agree. I didn't have a problem. Let's face it. Aykroyd, Murray, all them, they had a chance over the many years. And even though Murray had some kind of bug up his butt, they chose not to do a Ghostbusters movie. But with all that said, it looks like we're going to be getting a Ghostbusters movie after all, because they're coming back with Murray, or what's left of the gang of the Ghostbusters, minus Harold Ramis, for obvious reasons.
He passed away.
Ghostbusters without Egon, it's just going to be really, I don't know. I understand.
I think what's killed everything is that stupid copyright issue. I think copyright is killing Star Trek, and if it hasn't gotten the other fandoms, it's going to.
Well, that is pretty unique to Paramount/CBS, because they've got CBS owns the copyright to Star Trek, and so in order for somebody and Paramount owns the movies. Paramount wanted to make more movies, but they couldn't because of the copyright that CBS owns.
It's like CBS doesn't want it to succeed at all.
Well, you would think that once they removed Les Moonbutt out of that situation, then things would have picked up and they'd be gun ho. But no, even with the Picard show coming out, it has to be like roughly 25% different than the original Star Trek. And that's how that license works. But you're absolutely right, Solana. They're just really shooting themselves in the foot. Two companies, they used to be under one company, Viacom.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Star Trek was under the auspicious control of Viacom, Paramount, whatever it was called, they never got the franchise right. They never knew what they were doing. And if you look at the one person who knew how to handle a science fiction franchise, that was George Lucas. Fox saying they thought Star Wars was going to bomb. They thought it was a terrible movie, and Lucas said, "Well, I want the franchise rights," and Fox said, "Sure, no problem. You're not going to make any money." Especially those executives at the time were really hating themselves.
Oh yeah. Well, what helped Lucas was he had all the rights to the merchandising, and of course back then when the original one came out, they basically, sure, you can have all the merchandising, right? And what came out was toys for Generation X, that's how that all kind of came down and made him bukus of money.
Oh yeah, I mean that franchise rights belong great. It's just it's people who think they can get instant satisfaction, instant money. I mean, you really want to look at the back when the computers first came out. IBM and Xerox didn't think people would ever have computers because who's going to want a computer? Meanwhile, Microsoft and Apple are saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Give us your software. You don't want it, well, yeah." They say, "Take it, fine." And then all of a sudden, they take the software given from IBM and Xerox, and then boom, Microsoft and Apple take off. And now look at it. We're all glued to computers for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what you get when you have executives who do not have the pulse of America, but in the meantime, are collect as much money as a Ferengi. Excuse my language. You're a space cadet fan, should know what a Ferengi is, so they know.
Some of them do, yes.
I'm sure we'll have to take a couple aside and explain it to them, but that's okay.
Well, I was telling on the show last week, Bill, someone who treats the fandom just right is the Aliens franchise. When that high school did that production of Alien, and it leaked out to the internet, Sigourney Weaver showed up at the school. Money was donated to the drama club. Ridley Scott wrote them this warm letter, and it's like, maybe think about doing Gladiator next time. Just, I mean, that is how you take care of a fan base, is you praise them and you help them, and you can send money, and you let them know, you encourage them. So, I mean,
I thought it was absolutely. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm finished. Go ahead.
I thought it was absolutely wonderful Sigourney Weaver showed up, and I got to admit, those kids to take on such a complex thing as Alien and do a high school play, those kids get scholarships to any school.
Yeah, and the props were great.
That was brilliant. I swear, the one kid who was dressed up as the Alien must have having the time of his life. Because I think that that was the most, and compliments to the instructors and the teachers and stuff for letting these kids go to town. I thought that was a very creative and a very distinctive way to do it, and also to tackle basically a horror movie in a high school, which is really cool. Talk about really being open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
That's those kids. I would love to see if those kids got scholarships to any film school, art school, whatever they want to go to. They deserved it. That was a brilliant thing.
I think they did, and I think somehow Ridley Scott was behind it, or his production company was behind it. I think that's what I read.
Well, I would hope so. That would be fantastic, because I saw clips of that, and I was just wow. I was wow. To be honest, I was wow. I'm surprised no one shot it as a film and made it into a film. I mean, it was again, wow.
There was an upload of the whole thing, and it was like on a major websites. They're like, quick, go look at this before they take it down. And I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I sent the link to Spaceboy. I don't know what he did with it, but somebody filmed it like on their phone.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
I think they're going to try to make another production for films to be filmed.
I hope so. I hope so. Those kids did a really great job. I think they were teenagers, 16, 17, 18-year-old teenagers doing this. That was wonderful. That was a really good thing. I was very happy to see that. That's the kind of thing I would love to have done in high school.
That is cool.
I thought it was pretty impressive too, and unfortunately, I didn't. You sent me the link, Sirlana, and like a bonehead, I guess we're
busy people.
Yeah, we do. We're just busy all the time, and unfortunately, I think it just slipped my mind, which is unusual because I enjoy anything from the Alien franchise. Anything I can find, I soak it up. In fact, towards the end of this month, I think on the 27th, they're going to be releasing the Alien 3 on not the one that went to the movie, but the one that was written for the possibility to be Alien 3. They're doing an audio.
Oh, you mean the one where was it the one where when it was shot? See, Alien 3, they alienified a Rottweiler, so I couldn't watch it after that. But in the recut version that comes out, they did it with a giant space cow, which I was able to get through. I mean, obviously I'm a Rottweiler owner, and my queen of the universe is in her cage right now because she sleeps better that way. But I saw when they used a Rottweiler to make the alien, I'm just like, no, not again. Always using the dog I love as either the bad guy or the victim.
Right. Typecast. Well, it's kind of like the
totally. I mean,
like in the 80s when Doberman Pinschers were like
the bad guys.
With the bad guys, you know.
Yeah, I wish they'd stop doing the Rottweilers. They're not Satan's love child. They're really good, goofy dogs, you know. But that's enough on me and my defense of the Rottweilers.
All right, Bill, hold tight. We're going to take our break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Bill. And, of course, the phone lines are always open to chat with our guest tonight. Solana, you want to fill that in the chat room?
Okay, I can do that.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Hey, Solana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ron.
But wow, I mean, he
All right,
locked
ladies and
himself
gentlemen,
as the villain of the next decade.
we're back, and as always, you get a good conversation going in the background when during the break, and it is what it is. You know what we were talking about some of the pictures that the Space Cadets have posted in the chat room, and Josh, I like him because he reminds me of his dad. I mean,
Josh Brolin.
He looks so much like him, and I was really impressed with how much he beefed up for Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he really went to the gym and worked out and to get into shape for that.
They did an amazing job making him look like Cable.
Mm-hmm.
He had the right attitude and everything. I know everybody loves Thanos, but I enjoy Deadpool more than the other MCU so far.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Disney will take Deadpool. I mean, I don't know. We all know the opening line, 2 words opening. I won't repeat it, but we all know what he said about Wolverine. First 2 seconds the movie opens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't foresee Disney even allowing that, but I will hope that I am wrong.
Well, from what I heard about Bob Iger saying is that
they may create a whole section. They may carve out a section of the MCU that's the R-rated
kind of R-rated
universe,
like Logan would fall into that category,
and just keep it over there in the twain that shall never meet.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever wanted to do so we'll have the R of Marvel movies and the rest of the Marvel movies. Yeah, because of some moral imperative by a movie company. I don't think that's right. I mean, you're going to buy the whole franchise like apparently they did, except the fact that Deadpool, and I'm not a fan of Deadpool, but Deadpool's a moneymaker. Ryan Reynolds nailed Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool was designed for Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the whole point of it. And, if you're going to take the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool goes along, give the fans Deadpool,
I'm reminded by...
as I said, I'm interested to see if... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was reminded by when Sir Lana and myself went to go see Deadpool in the theater, the first one, and there was a mother and her 2 kids that couldn't have been more than...
That'd be way under 10.
7, 8 years old.
What are you doing here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what bothered me the most was, Mom, is it over yet? Can I uncover my eyes? Literally, that's what was
Why
said.
did you bring them here? I mean, I just don't get that. But then I'm not a parent, and I have no desire to be a parent, so I guess I can't make any...
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I mean, I used to take cousins, and I would take kids to movies, but I would never go take them to an R-rated movie. First off, to me, that's unconscionable. I mean, and second off, it just shows that, you're not putting the kicks first. That's you're so desire to see this movie, and you're not going to bring the kicks to it. It's to me, I'm a big believer in, I mean, kids should know what's going on in reality and stuff, but you determine what age they can learn that kind of stuff. I know in other countries like Japan, it's often discussed, but there's a big problem in the United States actually talking to people. That high and mighty moral Puritanism seems to be making a major comeback in the United States. And I just think that if you're going to take kids to see an R-rated movie, first off, maybe you should discuss it with them. And if they're way too young, get a babysitter.
Yeah.
Or wait like everybody else for the video to come out. You can't wait that long. You go and pirate it like half of the planet does. So, I mean, there's other options.
But
okay, and bringing your kids to an R-rated movie. Ooh.
Do you think R-rated movies are different from R-rated movies when we were kids? Like, it's even more so intense, the content?
I think it's more, with kids, I think it's more intense, and the kids have an ability to absorb more than adults do, and there could be an impact. I mean, let's look at it from, like, as an adult, I can go see a horror movie or something, it won't faze me. But when I was a kid, 2 movies scared the hell out of me. And they still bug me today. One being The Exorcist, which I saw way too young.
Yeah.
Okay?
For sure.
And the other one, believe it or not, was The Blob.
That scared me too.
The Blob scared the crap out of me.
Are we talking about the Steve
how
original one, or are we
No,
talking about
the
the
80s.
1980s one?
80s.
I saw all versions of The Blob. But either regardless, you know how everyone's always fighting the arcanic bad guy and potential win. Blob touches you, it's over. You're done. You're Blob through. It's gone. Forget it. It's over. You know?
And the song about the Blob too. That upset me.
It's also like a major. It's also like a major claustrophobic thing, you know. And I never, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the 80s Blob, while it was beautiful special effects and everything, left me feeling the same way.
Oh, the same. I know that feeling you're talking about. What's that one? Is it called Slither, about the slugs?
Yeah.
Oh, that was upsetting. I didn't like that either.
Nathan Fillion did the remake.
That didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. Like I said, the only two movies that really bothered me were The Exorcist and The Blob. To this day, I love horror movies. I mean, you know, I'm an 80s kid. I had Freddy Krueger to grow up with, you know, Jason and Pinhead and who else? Oh, Michael Myers, of course. You know, and I thought it was fun. You know, but like The Exorcist and The Blob still bugged the hell out of me. You know, and The Exorcist, I know it was special effects. I know how it's done. I love the camera angles and stuff like that, and how they did it, and you know, it was all cheap special effects compared to today. It's intense. You know, and I saw it as a kid, which I shouldn't have seen it as a kid. I should have seen it later on. You know, and that was before the age of the Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, all the horror slasher movies coming out. You know, as for The Blob, I have no excuse. I don't know why it bugs the hell out of me. It's just The Blob.
I was too young to see The Birds, Hitchcock's The Birds, and I would play outside, and I got locked out of the house one day right after seeing it. I was freaking out because there were birds everywhere, so I got over it, you know. Especially when you see Birdemic, you'll get over it.
All right, two movies for me: Jaws and Kingdom of the Spiders. That's going back to the 70s.
But that movie's laughable, isn't it?
I can see. I never liked spiders at all. I'm not a spider fan. I like Spider-Man though.
Oh yeah. Kingdom of the Spiders that starred William Shatner, of all people.
Oh yeah, didn't he get pounced on by a whole bunch of spiders that bit him and he screamed and overacted his way out to his death scene or something?
Someone has played.
I know, I'm a little crazy.
Well, we watched
being an artist.
Riff Tracks version of Kingdom of the Spiders. We did watch that.
Was it the Riff Tracks?
Yeah, Riff Tracks version, yeah. Where they make fun of it.
I've only seen Riff Tracks once, and we saw the Riff Tracks version of, was it The Room? That really awful movie with that really weird bad actor. It was with Jim and Jody Bray and Brian Cole while we were filming one of the. Oh my God, that was awful. And the Riff Track version barely made it tolerable. I was literally that's a horror movie. That will scare you.
Well, I love Riff Tracks.
Bill, you're tearing me apart.
I called my last kidney stone Lisa because she was tearing me apart. But I go to everyone. There's another one next month, and it's going to be Casper Van Dien in Star Raiders. And I've never seen it, but it looks really super awful. And we just saw Octoman on my birthday back in April. They had a live streaming of that. And
most of that movie was 45 minutes.
45 minutes of people climbing through a tunnel in a cave. And, God, that was awful. And then, of course, we saw a one-time only special event. We saw Riff Tracks Live, Starship Troopers. And that was the best one ever. Because that's like shooting fish in a barrel for them. But, yeah, I never laughed so hard.
I found the Riff Tracks made the movie like very funny, and it did get you through it because Riff Tracks was hysterical.
Well, that movie The Room has been kind of like become a cult classic. It's so bad it's good, that type of thing. And They made movies and made video games off it. He wrote books, and
You know, one of my favorite cult that movies is so bad that are good. One of my all-time favorites, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
I love that movie. It's
I don't know if
so
I've
bad.
ever seen that. It's an 80s thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You would know if you had seen it.
Another 80s movie. Yep, another 80s movie. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's so bad, it's hysterical funny. I loved it, you know.
Movies so bad that they're good.
Pardon me?
I said movies so bad that they're so good.
And I used to watch stuff like that in the 80s or late 90s. I'd rent stuff from the 80s in the 90s when it was like 99-cent rentals, from the rental store. My friend Holly and I, when we would do what Riff Tracks Mystery Science Theater did before Mystery Science Theater existed, we would watch these B, C, D sci-fi horror movies and make fun of them together. And then,
Well, I've always been a big fan of the cheesy B movie, and kind of like our good friend of the show, Mr. Lobo, does. He's really great at showing some of these classy, campy, old movies that they're just B movies that they're nothing more than a good popcorn movie to just kick back and laugh at it and make jokes at.
I just watched them, and I remember when Elvira was hosting the horror show. They used to get that up when I was a kid. I watched that too. Thought Elvira was great.
Yeah, she's still kicking it. She's still around.
She got me through my teenage years.
I'll bet she did. Totally different experience, I'm sure, for you. I'm interested, Bill, in have you ever, or do you still now, read sci-fi fantasy books or stories?
Yes, I do. I haven't read anything recently. I've been pretty much busy with a lot of changes going on with my life as I'm trying to acquire businesses for my artwork, and my current pace of employment has rolled back its hours, so I'm in like a flux. I love reading a lot of different books. Again, I told you my favorite was Dune Saga. I get I love to reread. Those are my Lord of the Rings. I was never a fan of the Lord of the Rings. I know I'm like one of the few who don't like the Lord of the Rings.
Hey, I'm in your club too. I never saw it. Don't care to see it.
I guess I'm a Lord
when
of the
I was
Rings
younger, I had
by
to
myself.
read Lord of the Rings. I had to learn Elf, and I swear I'm never going to learn Elf again. Elfish or whatever it is. But I discovered Dune on my own, and I love the Dune Saga. I've read all the books, the prequels, the sequels, all back and forth, left and right. I'm hoping they come out with another one very soon because I just go right into it. I read a couple of science fiction books by my friend Glenn Smith, who writes the Call of Duty, the Soul Fleet series, which is fantastic. I'm hoping to purchase book 3 very soon because I've loved what he does, how he creates his story tales. And a lot of other science fiction I can get into. It just depends on what mood I'm in. A couple of horror too, But focusing right now on my art career has been a paramount issue because I want to try to get as much work as possible because I want to be the kind of guy that can actually work this full time. I've been very passionate about my illustration, my cartooning, and my artwork, and now working with Technofear, my video editing. I'm very passionate about all that kind of stuff, and I like to get jobs that work for that right now. For example, I have one client I'm working on a completely non-superhero book. It's called Shaker's Angels. It's by Andre Darlington. Now, this man, he goes all over the planet reviewing bars and cocktails and stuff like that. Great guy. Took a leap of faith with me. He's trusted me to get it done. We've done a slow process, and the book is hopefully will be out very soon. I mean, we're doing the first 10 pages. You can try to market it. It's really cool. I think I sent you guys a couple pictures of that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm working with Eston Robert Dunn. He's an author who wrote a series called Echelon Zen. The man is a prolific writer who's got tons of books. And I've been going through them, reading his universe, getting comfortable with it, because he wants to do like a graphic novel, and I want to do that, where it's all alien characters and based on his universe. And I'm always up to do graphic novels, taking on the challenge. I want to draw. I want to illustrate. I mean, I'm still doing stuff for Dragon's Intrigue and my Pathways frontiersman stuff. It's just trying to get the work, and I want to be able to hopefully have a website up very soon as well, which will showcase not only my artwork, my graphics, but will showcase my video stuff, which will include Custom Sweepers and Challenger, which I'm very happy is going at the pace it's going. I mean, I remember you guys talking to Jim last week. You know, we got to get it out. He's absolutely right. Just got to get in the final special effects, and I am the guy that's going to make sure it's not I want to make sure I'm comfortable with it, and won't be much longer, I promise. It's just I'm still waiting on some final special effects, and we're going to get it out. And I love working on Sweepers. Challengers is so much fun, and Brian Cobalt wrote Sweepers. He is a fantastic writer. I mean, he created those actual Sweepers universe with those characters, so he knows exactly what he's doing. And we've talked about it. We've mentioned that the second episode of Sweepers is going to be a little bit of the horror side. Brian and I have talked about that, and and then going more into Challenger, and then upcoming with Mother, connecting the whole universe. You know, I just like the whole concept of connecting things, and I really think that, you know, Brian and Jim would create the whole universe that we can develop stories in all of them. And I'm a totally big Sweepers. I love Sweepers. I like the concept of characters. And again, I co-directed it with Jim, and they let me do the kind of comic book angle drawing that I do using the camera, and it was so much fun. And I'm looking forward when we get to do Sweepers 2 that we can go in and create a horror. Give it that horror effect, because, you know, they're going to be shooting the second half of Challenge, the second episode in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to get that film so I can start editing that too. And again, Brian and Jim, they've written some great scripts. I love Brian's writing. Jim, Challenger, he knows what he's doing. Hopefully one of these days we can film one of the novels I wrote, which was a complete vampire novel. I would love to film with Technofear. But that's special effects nightmare, and we've been through that already lately.
Well,
but right now I'm just working on trying to get my artwork going, and, you know, there's even probably going to be an Outer Rim graphic novel coming soon. If I can find the time, because I really want to illustrate these characters too.
Brian had mentioned that in the chat room in the NARF Post production chat room. Outer Rim graphic novel someday. So, yeah, Brian's a great guy.
Yeah, they're listening. The guys are listening. But yeah, I would like to do an Outer Rim graphic novel. I think it would be fun. Maybe a prequel or maybe a sequel. I don't know. I mean, I do like to draw, and all these characters are fun to draw.
Well, with the 3 different productions, you know, coming out of the Outer Rim, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of material that you can, you know, leapfrog into any kind of direction. You know, I was going to ask you, you know, with all the things you've been doing, have you thought about doing animation of some kind?
I actually have. I would have to get some training involved. It's been a long time since I even tried it. And I graduated art school like maybe 1 or 2 years prior to the explosion of technology, and then everything was done on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I pretty much caught up. I mean, I use Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere Pro, Final Cut. I've gone into Illustrator. I've done graphic design logos for a couple of clients and stuff. I haven't really got animation. I tried fooling around with Lightwave, but before I had Mac computers, Lightwave would just eat my computer's memory. I could never get anything done. So I'm interested in getting into some CGI animation. I'm starting to take classes on Blender, which is a free version of that kind of stuff, and Professional Fusion too. Open software. It's like the Linux of computer programs for animation. I'm hoping to incorporate that within my portfolio, because I'm also building a website which will hopefully showcase all my stuff. I'm working with someone on that because, you know, pretty much my plate's kind of full.
That sounds great. As far as you know, definitely been there where you kind of separate yourself. Like, for example, when I was first doing Space Boy music, I did my own websites and everything, and then I got married to a wonderful web designer, and she ruled the day of the fact that
I told you that I could do that.
Yes, she shouldn't have told me that she could do it.
And Photoshop and all that stuff.
And Dreamweaver and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she does really good. And
I'm trying to conquer the entire Creative Cloud.
And I wouldn't say I've totally lost some of my HTML skills as far as coding. And there was a lot of times where I would sit by her and I learned. I like to think that some of my Photoshop skills come from her, even though I did take it in college. Well,
see, I've been dabbling in Photoshop way back since the 90s when you had to have a bootleg copy, cracked CDs and stuff. So I had nothing but time, before I moved to Texas to do online tutorials and all that stuff like that. So I had just been doing it a long, 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 long time. So that's the only reason why. And I never took a class. It was all self-taught.
Photoshop, Illustrator, yeah. I actually ended up, I'm actually teaching them now as part of when I'm doing web design or teaching students when I'm teaching in the school I teach at. But that being few and far between, I am looking forward, to improving myself at that because I do like all that kind of stuff. I want to try to get CGI under my belt. It's getting close to time. That kind of thing.
That would be awesome, though. I envy you and your drive and your passion, and I don't know what died in me, but I'd love to try to conquer Premiere and After Effects because I have those programs and maybe Illustrator better, but I think I just think that's super cool.
Yeah, they're so much fun, and it's one of those basically things I actually have to do. I mean, I had, because of some of the issues with sweepers, I've had to go in and learn After Effects. I had to get it done.
That's an awesome program.
I got myself certified to do it. Oh, I love it. It's like Photoshop on crack.
After Effects is kind of what Flash should have been the whole time.
Yes, I agree.
And thank God Flash is going away. So.
Well, I just hope I get that notice.
Flash is being replaced by Adobe Animate, which is a lot more advanced. I actually teach Flash and Animate. The Animate is a lot more advanced. It's similar, basically the same thing with a change of name, but maybe some more bells and whistles added to it.
Yeah, it's very cool. I have to get that down. There's just too much Adobe stuff to try to conquer and learn in the limited space that I have in my life. But it's all really, really awesome, and I'll really enjoy it.
Bill, when did you get into computers, and what was your first computer?
I got into computers in the 90s when I was working restaurant. When I was a restaurant manager, I eventually became the guy who did all the computer work. And my ex-wife suggested I study. I went to school to study it, and it kind of blended in with the artwork and stuff. I also did work at some fan film stuff. I was always the computer guy, and it just developed where I finally discovered I liked Macs, my Macs, MacBook Pros over Windows, and since then it blossomed. I mean, I am a total Mac aficionado. I have an iPad, an iPhone, an iMac, a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. I'm a Mac nut.
Fruit and nuts.
I can't stand Macs because I don't know, maybe because I've grown up on IBM clones with Windows, and I'm used to facing large challenges and trying to fix stuff constantly. And I don't know. I guess there's a part of me who's a glutton for punishment. I like it, so.
Well, as an IT professional, I hate Macs. I mean, I've always loved my iPhone, my iPad, but supporting the Mac after I've been doing Windows for over 14 years.
It's like you're doing it with hands behind your back,
Yeah, it's like it's aggravating.
Because I used to do tech support too, and we had to do Macs, and I'm like, just throw it in the trash and get another one. It's easier.
Well, we don't want to throw away the break that we have loaded here, so hold tight, Bill. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Solanus Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
I'm Solaris Blue Ribbon, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Yeah, are we back?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize we had come back so quickly.
You were so distracted tonight.
I was. Well, during that break, I had a pit stop that needed to be done, and then I needed some more gas for the refill. So, Anyway, our guest tonight is Bill Lutz, and we've been talking to him about pop culture in general.
He's got a great name for animation, drawing, and art. Bill Lutz. It kind of reminds me of like Charles Schultz in a way. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that, Bill. I think you might be.
Yeah, because Bill, you're such a youngster.
Believe me, with the last name like Lutz, you've heard many different iterations of it.
Well, I think that's a great name.
Thank you.
They often say you should never meet your idols. Has there been a chance where you've met any of your idols, Bill?
Yes, I've met a lot of my idols, and fortunately, 90% of them have been really super cool. Been really great. I did one artist I met who lived on Long Island, and he was an idol of mine, I believe. And I met him. It was very helpful in trying to push my career when I was younger, before family issues sabotaged the whole thing. But he was a really good person. I've met. I remember meeting Jack Kirby at a comic book convention. I spent a lot of time talking to him, and he signed my copy of Fantastic Four 100. I met pretty much John Byrne, Terry Austin, George Perez. I talked a little bit with Mike Grell over Facebook. He's another one of my favorite artists, and he's really cool. Another artist I talk on Facebook is Bob McLeod, another one of my idols when I grew up. He lets me ink some of his old stuff because it's great skill training. What else? I also recognize, too, that, they're human beings, and you got to give them their space. Right. And I try not to.
Try not to smother
them because you go to a convention and you look and see what happens. There's just no way you can talk shop with them without someone going banana crazy. And I guess I'm more of I can understand what they're going through. And in that regard, I just tend to back off. If I really want to talk to them, I'll reach out another way. Communication, Facebook's been a great thing to talk to them when it's not been the toxic environment it's been these days. But I've not been really disappointed. I don't think any one of the idols I've met has been a real monster. I recognize the fact that they're human beings and they can get stressed, especially at conventions and stuff, which I don't generally try to go to. I understand why they do it. You also make money off of it too, and the fans want to see them, but I feel like I don't want to impose upon them. It's good to talk to them about the artwork. I mean, I'm always interested in learning their techniques, and I'd rather them teach. And then when they're teacher-student moment, it's a different feeling. I understand the fan base thing. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'll respect the artist first before I go bananas, fanboy crazy about it. And if I can't meet them, I'll find another way to communicate. Wow, that was long-winded.
Well, I was reminded when I got to meet my idols, and that was the Pet Shop Boys. And, of course,
right.
Leave it to Solana to make it surreal. And, we're getting the chance to, we're having this meet and greet thing, and they ask me how I'm doing. I say absolutely fabulous, which is the name of one of their songs that they've done. And of course,
these are your idols, your music idols.
And Solana's there because it's a concert. And, we're
I love them too.
Yeah, and she likes their music. And but how did you phrase it?
But I wasn't like, I didn't idolize them.
But was I like that, or was I?
No. You're cheesy, but cute, and I just walked up and they're human beings like the rest. I just like, oh hey Chris, hi Neil, I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, very nonchalant, and
No big deal.
But it was like, I guess.
He was so impressed with me.
I was impressed with her because it was like, hey,
these are your idols, not mine.
It's just like it's like a everyday situation, and
they're just people.
So, but anyway, I was fortunate that I wasn't disappointed to meet my musical idols. I don't think I've been in. Well, I say that, and I have met some famous people that I have not. I guess I'm maybe disillusioned or disappointed that things didn't work out differently. But I won't go any further than that. But I've been in that situation, and But I see now I'm getting long-winded over the whole situation. So
it's not about you anyway. Oh, what did you do with your mic thing? So Bill, let's get into the dirty nitty-gritty.
Thanks for saving me.
What's it been like working with Space Boy on Outer Rim projects with the music? Don't rattle that.
Sorry.
Okay.
One more time, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, you broke up a little bit. It could be my phone.
Well, he had the mic stand really hard, too. So I was going to ask you, we're going to get to the really dirty underbelly here. Bill, what's it been like working with Space Boy on Outer Rim projects with this music stuff? You could tell us the absolute dirty truth if you want to.
It's been a great experience. I mean, I've been satisfied with almost all the music. I've been tightening it in with what we've been doing for Sweepers, and I can't wait to dig into it with Challenger. It's been better than I hoped because I was really scared that we'd be borrowing music from all over the place. And now we don't have to. This original stuff has been fantastic. And I've downloaded it. I used the music with the Sweepers for a recruiting thing for a video I had to do for my job because the music was great. Mm-hmm. And it's an in-school video. They're trying to recruit people to go into web design, and I love the music. I had put together examples of everything from HTML all the way down to video editing, and I just combined it with some of the music he did, and it was perfect for what I had. Also like the fact that what he comes up with kind of matches what I'm feeling about the characters. This is the problem. I'll say it. I mean, I think I said like one song back, I can't use this. Can we do it like this? And it was perfect. I mean, one of the things is he was also able to adapt someone else's music because I was most insistent on a particular song. He made it 10 times better, which I loved. And that's the love theme from Sweepers, because there was just something about it that I actually liked when I was putting it together originally. And there was a kid who did it, like 20 years old or something. And I think he got slightly overwhelmed by the fact he wanted to score music, and we never heard from him again. And we reached someone else out, couldn't get through, couldn't get the other person to do it. And that's when I know Jim reached out to Space Boy on that, and then from all the music I've been hearing, it's been great. It's not been an issue or a problem at all. It really hasn't.
Oh, man, I was hoping for something really gritty.
Pardon me?
I was hoping something really gritty, but unfortunately I do know my husband. He's not a drama queen when it comes to that. But I have access to your private Facebook production group just so I can like things and support you like that, but not butt in. So I have been able to see some of your behind the scenes things that you're getting ready to show, whatever. And I watched, I guess I don't know if it was the opening scene of Sweepers. I don't know if that's what I watched, but I was listening to it because I was focusing on the music because, well, you know why. And I was just like, that is dead on. Classic Trek, classic sci-fi type of music. And it didn't take away from the scene. It just enhanced it. It didn't, overwhelm anything. And, then I started getting lost in the story and the dialogue. And then the guy complained about, like, we have to keep listening to Space Boy. I was like, this is freaking awesome. I just really enjoyed it. And I loved how you and your cast and crew, like, you hit the tropes. Like, you've got this person's like this, and then you've got the music that does that, and then, like you say, you have your own love theme, because I didn't know anything about this going into it until I saw, like I don't sit by and listen to what he's doing. He does all this independently, and then I see whatever gets put together,
the final
results or whatever your drafts are. And I'll say, is this, and this, and I'll guess all these things. He's like, yep, that's right. And I was like, oh, that must be their love theme. And then I watch the credits, and I'm like, you had the words love theme. And I'm like, man, am I immersed in sci-fi world or what? So I just really enjoyed it.
I think working with Space Boys on the music's been really fantastic. We've got a lot done, a lot accomplished, and I'm hoping to get more done. As I said, Sweepers was our first production. We made a lot of initial beginning mistakes, which is normal. I challenge anybody not to say they don't make mistakes. And by doing that, I'm looking forward to the next productions where things will be a lot easier for us. And of course, I'm open to work with Space Boy again, especially on Challenger, because I need him. We need him.
Well, I have enjoyed working with you guys.
I can't wait for you to score the alien creatures on that one. Barbie?
I said I've enjoyed working with you guys too, and it's been a labor of love. Not usually by now I probably would have cranked out a few more Space Boy music albums, but the distraction of creating film work has been great. I've enjoyed it.
The music's been fantastic. It's just, I like it a lot. Not dissatisfied at all. And it's done a great job. It's done a great job for the production. I'm pleased.
He's got a lot of stuff in his catalog prior to your project that sounds very either cinematic or it sounds like the opening theme of a sci-fi show. I could quote several names of songs that wouldn't mean anything to anybody but me and him. But I'm like, that right there needs to be a show. I don't know what it's about, but that music demands extra attention. So I think he's just naturally fits.
Detective Pancake?
Don't even go there. I think his sound naturally fits soundtrack work. I think he's just a natural at it. Like he understands it without even trying. No, like the one No Fate, that deserves a TV show.
Right.
Which you can hear on spaceboymusic.com. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely. Like you said, he's nailed all the music, and I'm again very grateful for the help because there's just no way I could do. I can't do that. I mean, it's been really, like I said, the music's been extraordinary. I'm in love with every minute of it. So this production's been, like I said, a long process with Sweepers, but I do love every minute of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every minute of it. And, it's also helped me to develop as a better artist.
Mm-hmm. You get practical application.
As I'm a much better artist because I'm trying to learn how to improve myself and my technique and everything as a professional.
That's awesome. I almost wish I had a creative endeavor like that, but just like it seems like everything takes time and money. Two things I'll never have enough of for anything. I know if you're passionate and you're dedicated, you can make the time, but unfortunately, I don't know, somewhere along the line, something inside me died, and I don't have that anymore. But I like at least being able to sit back and appreciate other people's endeavors like this. I think just as somebody who's like on the outside, like a viewer or potential future viewer that's, as the spouse of somebody who's contributing at this thing, this has like been really, really cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm married to that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Just like I said, I've been creative all my life, and I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I remember I was told by some person about a week and a half ago, I was trying to rework resumes and stuff, and I got this call from this professional resume writer, and first thing to try to do was sell me his book. And I'm thinking, All right. Yeah. Buy the book. Okay. And then said, well, I like to paint too. Maybe you should just stop the drawing thing. And that's when I hung up on him.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
I was just more like, no, that's something my father would have said, and I don't really need that. That's just like, I'm going to work on, my artwork.
What was this guy trying to advise you to do in the long run? Was he doing, would you say, working on your resume or?
Yeah, some professional resume writer wanted like $600. It's like, you lost the sale.
I did that for Spaceboy for his, professional stuff. I got a hold of his resume and shook it out and redid it, and I branded him, made him a free website, gave him a gimmick line, catchphrase. I even filmed and scripted an introductory About Me video to place on the website, and after 2 weeks later, he started getting job offers after we started including that link in his
sent you my resume.
Yeah, I've done that for several people. I guess because I was an English major, and I could do the research on like what are people looking for now on resumes, what is out of vogue, what's in now, what's the way to do it, and then there's that whole. That's one app, but what I flippin' hate is the interview. It's like once you find out the questions they're asking and what the right thing is to answer, they go and find new questions just to F you over. It's like, look, I'm qualified. I've got all the experience. I've got the referrals. I'm like, what more do you want from me? And I mean, your Spaceboy's latest interview for the job he has now was like, I thought they were going to like have him submit a retinal scan and maybe a stool sample, and I couldn't believe the hoops he jumped through to get even beyond the face-to-face interview. It's all such a stupid game. It really is.
I had to do a video interview and
face-to-face interview, an SAT questionnaire.
But the thing is that the video interview impressed them the most because I filmed here in the studio, and it was like, wow, he had these special headphones, and it impressed them. And so at the end of the day, when I went to do the in-person interview part, it's kind of like I had already made fans, kind of. So it was all good, all worked out in the end.
That's awesome.
So I mean, but my only advice on that for the job hunt is this time around, when I was looking for work, it took me 2 weeks, and so it was.
Last time was 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, that was murder.
And I feel like that was my fault because I waited 4 months to go, wait a minute, give me your resume. And I did all these other things, and like 2 weeks, things started changing. So I feel like that was my fault because I didn't wake up.
My resume.
So this time I took the attitude of Galaxy Quest: never give up, never surrender.
Well, the thing is, depending on what you're going after, like with him, he's got an IT resume, and then I made him like a broadcast resume based on this show and what we've done and what we do. So I'd had to like pull different aspects. So you're going for a job, you have to tweak it based on the job description. Like, oh, we want this. It's the number one priority. Okay, you take that and you put it at the top of your bullet point list on your resume so they don't have to hunt for it. So you do have to sometimes have several versions ready to go. So that's what I found out. It's irritating, but sometimes you have to do it.
It's one job.
It's stupid, but I'm going to do it. God, I love Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, if you want a job, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, but I see that was fun to me. That whole thing was fun. I'm weird like that, so. I like doing
I'm trying to get my resume worked. I'm just not sure where I stand right now. It's been difficult. So I'm just moving forward with some stuff too. And right now, I'm just trying to get my art career really going as best I can. Yeah, it's been that kind of situation. Again, the economy is strong, but it's not that career-based economy. I mean, it's a very much a service industry economy with the low end wages. And yeah, I mean, we see these great numbers, but we don't see what the money people are making or what it is. It's just, oh yeah, they have these great numbers, so let's cheer on the economy. But the same people could be working 2 or 3 jobs. You know, it's just kind of discouraging. And we're not right now. We're in a service economy, which is kind of also very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
can go back to bartending and waiting tables, and that'd be real fun. Not.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to do this stuff as a second job. It's like, I have a $600 permanent crown waiting for me at my dentist office. I'm like, well, I'd have to take 2 more jobs in order to pay for that because my insurance won't hardly even do anything. So I'm like, well, I just started dodging their phone calls. That's what I did. So I'll just have to have my head go septic and rot away.
Well, I don't even have medical insurance right now, so that's even harder. Very funny. It's interesting being the richest country in the world, and we still can't get the medical insurance thing done right.
Well, because healthcare is not about health and getting better. Healthcare is about making money, and if it doesn't make money, you can just die. And then that has to make money too. Death has to make money too. So, unfortunately, it's not about. If we were healthy, then it wouldn't exist. None of this would exist. Healthcare wouldn't exist. It's just
right.
Going to have to wait to transcend to another plane of existence, I guess.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be a lot easier these days, I think that'd be a lot easier translating into another plane of existence. Probably a lot more fun.
You should write a script about it.
Right?
All right. So let's take our...
I probably could at this rate.
Let's take our next break of the evening here, and when we come back, maybe we can twist some arms from the Space Cadets to call in with some questions. And I know one lovely lady that always likes to call in, and maybe
don't pressure people.
Maybe she'll call in and ask some questions. And now all the Space Cadets are going to wonder, am I the lovely lady, or?
Yeah. Dino's probably.
Well, if he wears a dress.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right. We actually made it back on time for this fifth break of the evening. Mm-hmm. And our guest tonight is Bill Lutz. And he is an interesting character, to say the least.
He works on the project with The Outer Rim with Jim and Jody Bray.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we know him, or you know him. I guess I sort of know him, but, you know.
Yeah, you do.
By association.
Sometimes you work through me vicariously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that he likes Pinky and the Brain. I mean, that's one of the most brilliant animations in the last, I guess that was in the 90s, 20 years maybe ago. But I can't recall, Bill, did you ever tell us you have a favorite Star Trek TV series?
No, I never did tell you that. My favorite Star Trek TV series. Not difficult, because you know what? I kind of like them all. Classic's great, because I was actually watching the classic episodes before I chimed in on your show. Of course, I think The Next Generation, because that just reintroduced everything. Deep Space Nine was great. Mm-hmm. I even like Voyager, even though the whole Lost in Space thing was kind of lame. Mm-hmm. Enterprise was good, especially in the last season. I love the animated show. Discovery got incredibly better in the second season. That was like watching a totally different show. It actually was Star Trek. I have no idea what direction they're going to go in the third season. It's hard for me to say which I like the best. It really depends on what mood I'm in, too. I could be in the Next Generation mood and not watch extra shows. I mean, to me, I really don't have a favorite Star Trek. I just like them all.
Well, there was...
If anything, my favorites would be the original or Next Generation.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I don't know if it's already passed. It might have already passed, but it's this month, and it was on a Monday night. There was a one-time live showing of a documentary that was recently made called What We Left Behind, and it was about Deep Space Nine. And it was on a Monday night. We were like, we're too old to go out, after dark on a Monday night, But I really did want to see it, because I think that's what brought Spaceboy and I together, even after we were married. I'm like, we really bonded over Deep Space Nine to the point where on our wedding anniversary, we watched one particular episode of that show, because we were married at the Star Trek experience, so sci-fi means a lot to us. Yeah.
So you don't think SG-1 was a big part?
When I first moved to Texas, I moved down there in Webster, and right before I met you, I was just about to meet you, and I was starting to watch Stargate SG-1 reruns on Sci-Fi on cable, satellite, and it come on at 5:30. And I had just moved down here, so I didn't really have a steady job yet. I was doing temp work. And that's when people wanted to call me because they were getting off work and want to talk to me, mostly just Leanne. And I'm like, I am trying to watch Stargate. Leave me alone. And then I don't know, something about that. I don't think I ever finished the whole series. I don't remember seeing the end of it, but yeah.
I did.
Totally. When we started emailing each other before we met each other, because we did personals online, I told him, I said, I've got all of Red Dwarf on DVD. He goes, we should meet. And that's what happened. But I was curious what yours was, and because I think our mutual one is Deep Space Nine, because it broke the one rule of Trek, which was the future was bright for humanity. We were at peace. There was no war, poverty, famine, or money. And then you find this wider world of all the four quadrants, and it's like, no, all species are out there. No, they don't all get along, and they don't all like us. And then you are going to have to fight for your life. So I think that's kind of why I liked it.
I thought Deep Space Nine was more on the original side, and I enjoyed it very much. I definitely agree that a lot of, it's not a perfect world, and I kind of like with Deep Space Nine, the direction Deep Space Nine went in. That being said, again, I'm just, like I said, a big Star Trek. I just like Star Trek in general.
I like the theme that
I
keeps
know it
coming
sounds
back of the xenophobia, especially with, the founders. Like, we're so afraid that you're going to hurt us. We're going to just take over the whole freaking universe. And then with the Borg, it's not necessarily xenophobia, it's more of a mania. And then in Enterprise, the xenophobia comes back, but it's the humans saying, let's get these aliens off of our planet and out of our lives. So I think that's a wider commentary on, I guess, racism. Always going back to that, on humanity.
I'm like you, Bill. I do enjoy all Star Trek. I mean, Deep Space Nine is definitely well written out of all of them, I believe. Today I caught myself watching a little TNG and Voyager. Watched the episode where TNG dealing with the Iconians, and then I watched an episode of Voyager where apparently the Doctor's hollow emitter and 7 and 9's technology Borg-driven stuff were kind of meshed.
Made a little Borg baby.
Yeah, and it came out to be like a...
I like that episode.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, and he was called One. His designation was One.
One of one.
Yeah, but that was a good one. I watched that too today and thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, there's been some really good stuff on Netflix. I've enjoyed watching this one series called Good Girls, and it's about this group of ladies who. Why are you rolling your eyes? You've already.
It's not to do with sci-fi.
Well, because Christina Hendricks is out of this world.
Okay, sure.
See, I could tie it into like sci-fi. Don't mind me. Well, yeah, she is well curved. Yeah, I liked her in Mad Men too. So I'm a manly man. So anyway,
Bill, have you ever seen or have you watched Rick and Morty?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's a shame.
I've never really gotten to that. I've seen one or two episodes, but I've never really gotten into that.
I guess it's because I'm more of a negative nihilist, and it just fits in right to where my road of thinking is. But it's also kind of sci-fi fantasy, though. But I really enjoyed aspects of that. But it's not for everyone. And again, like Deadpool, it's probably not for anyone under the age of 15. You know what I'd say?
It's one of those things where you put your hand to your mouth and you go, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be watching this.
Well, if Dan Harmon's a part of it, and he's the one who created Community on NBC. And he had that Dungeons and Dragons episode I liked, and he had that episode where Troy would come in with a pizza, and every time he'd come in, it would be on a different timeline. And it would be a different scenario would play out. Every time they would roll the dice, he'd go get a pizza, he'd come back. It'd be on a different timeline, and you can really feel aspects of that in Rick and Morty. But, yeah, I just wondered what other aspects of a sci-fi and fantasy you like that were TV or movies. We also saw Krull riff tracks live, and I had never actually seen Krull before.
I saw it as a kid.
But I was aware of it, but I just never. It was not something I was actually had access to. But did you? So when you saw the Blob and all this stuff. So did you like 80s genre sci-fi fantasy as well as the horror?
Some of it, yeah. I mean, again, most of my 80s genre fantasy turned out to be Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah. Star Wars was good.
And Star Wars was prevalent in the 80s. So yeah, Star Wars had a bigger impact on science fiction. But then again, Star Trek was making the movies in the 80s. So yeah, it's more like that kind of stuff, the mainstream stuff. A lot of the 80s TV shows were pretty awful.
Looking back, they're cringy now, but I guess back then we didn't know any better. But did you have any of the quintessential Star Wars, Star Trek toys back then?
No.
I didn't either.
Sorry.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't. Yeah, that those kind of stuff really wasn't permitted in my house. I mean, I had the Star Trek models, that was it. but my father wasn't a big fan of stuff like that, and basically, I did my own thing, you know.
I think
I had a lot of big active imagination, so I drew a lot.
Mm-hmm. Somebody took me. I don't know who took me. It must have been my parents. It's the only people ever. We do have an incoming call. We'll see if we've got a caller that's got questions or comments for Bill. I'm trying to pick it up. Are you there, caller? You got anything for our guest tonight?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Bev.
Hey, Bev.
You got some questions or comments for our guest, or Bill, tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when he was talking about, you know, what people, you know, were saying to him and that.
Okay.
I just wanted to tell him, you know, don't let anything stop you. Just, you
Bad
have
advice.
a dream, follow it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. You know, I agree, and you're absolutely right. And a lot of friends I have said the same thing. Keep working on it. You know, for me, it's just, you know, I'm more devoted to my artwork than anything else. I really love it a lot, and between that's given me lots of different things, especially when I'm doing video editing for Technofear and stuff like that. So yeah, I try to get through it. And best therapy also for me is drawing, because I love to draw. Can't stop.
Good. Hey, you got the talent. Don't waste it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Always sage advice from Bev.
Mm-hmm. We call Bev our marriage counselor, because sometimes we get into it and she'll call and, like, try to diffuse the situation. But she's always been a supporter.
I know pretty much all there is to know about these two kids.
There's still some stuff in the closet that hasn't come out.
Now, there's things you don't want to know, Space Cadets. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh.
Well, that's really great advice, Bev. We appreciate that. I'm sure Bill appreciates that too.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
What do you think of his artwork he's been posting?
Oh, I mean, oh my gosh. It's just, wow.
I know.
It's wild. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm just in awe of his artwork. He's got a lot of talent there.
Thank you.
A lot of talent. My husband likes to paint too, but he does landscapes. You guys have seen him, haven't you?
I don't know that we have, Bev. I can't recall.
I know he has posted them on Facebook. Dang, stupid. Oh, I hate them things. Sorry. I had a stink bug that landed on my computer.
At least you didn't freak out.
Oh, but now, if it had been a spider, I would have freaked out.
I do okay with spiders until I'm driving, and that's when they bother me. I'm driving on I-10, and a spider will just drop right down, and, you know. Anyway, any more questions or comments you got for our guest, since we've got him just for a little bit more?
No, that's basically, you know, I just wanted to tell him, don't ever give up.
Well, appreciate that, Bev.
No, I won't.
That's very sweet of you, Bev. That's why we love you so much.
Wow, I love you guys too.
Oh, you say that to all the radio disc jockeys out there.
All the couples that broadcast.
Yeah. and we know so many of them.
I'm sure there's lots of podcasts out there of married people.
All right, Bev.
You guys are the only ones we listen to.
Well, good.
Awesome.
We're glad that both you and Bob listen to us every week, even though we might have a technical difficulty every once in a while. So I guess we'll catch you next Saturday.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Alrighty.
All right, dear.
Thank you, Bev.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So you heard that, right, Bill?
Oh, what a cool person.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
awesome.
I did. What
She's very
a cool
supportive.
person.
She's very supportive.
All right, Bill. We're getting close to the ending of our conversation here, but I wanted to make sure you could plug away like any kind of social media or web places to go to find you and to check out more of your art and
plug yourself.
Plug yourself.
Well, I have a Facebook page called The Art of Bill Lutz, which is all my artwork on it. You can look at my Facebook page, which is basically Bill Lutz. We'll have a lot of artwork too. I have an account on DeviantArt.com. If you look for Telestrike, that will be my DeviantArt page, which will show almost all my artwork. And I have an upcoming website, which I'm finishing up with someone right now. I'm hoping to have it by the end of next month that I can start to push out stuff. And that will include my illustration, my cartooning, my graphics, as well as my video editing and some website design materials. And I'm available for hire, I'd like to work with clients. I mean, you need a graphic logo, you need an image, you need something to communicate what you're trying to sell, who you are, website being built. I can do that. My rates are reasonable. All concepts are accepted. And I'm kind of hoping to get this more developed even further. So, please, if you like what you see and you need some artwork, you need someone to do it for you, please give me a call. All rates are reasonable. I work out with my clients. I will make sure that the rates are decent,
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
All right, Bill. Anything you want to add to the cherry to the ice cream? Or?
Looking forward to seeing the fruits of your labor with Sweepers and the other projects under the Outer Rim with Jim and Jody Bray. Keep on trucking. I'll keep, watching things from the back end and supporting and liking things. And I can't wait.
Make sure that I'm on track.
Yeah, don't hold him accountable. Tell him exactly what you want. You don't have to, just sugarcoat it.
Our rates are reasonable.
Yeah. But, I hope that y'all are getting close to releasing Sweepers soon, the first iteration. So I'm looking forward to it.
I am. Again, our biggest issue, of course, is special effects right now.
Yeah,
but we're getting very close. Just need to sit down, tighten everything up, but we're getting very close to it.
Good.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. I can only watch the intro so many times, and but it's still every time I watch the intro, I get goosebumps because it's just really cool to listen to my music a part of that. So.
The music's fantastic. It really is great. Probably, like I said, if we ever do the Blu-ray release, we're going to put a CD of the music in with it,
Cool beans. All right, Bill. Well, we appreciate you plugging in with us tonight and being a part of the universe.
Have fun? It's great.
Yes, and...
anytime. You guys are fantastic.
Well, thank you, Bill. You're fantastic, too, sir.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off then. I'm going to say thank you very much. It was always fun talking to you guys. Thanks for letting me plug myself. Thanks for letting me plug Techno Fear and Sweepers. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the comments made by your fans. It's really awesome. You guys are fantastic. Thank you
Bill.
so much.
Thank you, Bill. I'll be talking to you soon, sir.
All right. You got it.
Good night, Bill.
Here we go. Really for
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Solanas Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
I'm Solaris Blurvid, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Lana.
Hey, we're back, Sir Lana.
Hey.
So that Bill is a righteous guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like working with him.
I'm glad. Like I said, I don't really know what goes on when you're doing your collaboration. I just want to give you your room, but I wait to see what the end result is, and that's the fun part for me. And like listening to your music, trying to break it all down, and finding out, well, what did he ask you to do? And I feel like sometimes I could write a TV sitcom called "I Married a Musician," just with all the stuff and that you've been through that we go through.
I thought it's more stupid stuff my husband says.
It's not enough for a TV series. It's more for like a short book you could read on the toilet.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
Really?
Right next to the crapper jokes and the Reader's Digest.
Huh. Well, it's always nice to talk to someone else about pop culture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any friends that we talk to on a regular basis or that we hang out with because everybody lives so flippin' far away. This is Houston. No one ever lives within your zip code or even 2 zip codes away.
Yes, I know the most interesting people that we know
are
live
30 or 40, 50 miles away.
Or 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And
it's just too much. It's too much. So I hadn't planned content for this part of the show. Like I said, everything I've been looking up for as news, I'm not interested in. We could talk about it. But
apparently, Schwarzenegger got into some kind of issue. Apparently, it was at some school event for someone in South Africa, and his back was turned, and somebody just jumped up and hit him in the back.
Attacking an old man.
Well, he is the Terminator. But they caught the guy and slammed him down on the ground, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, Schwarzenegger walked away with no serious injury, but I can imagine being out of whack. You know what I'm talking about? Jumped up, and then it looked like some kind of wrestling move where they kicked him with both their feet, and but as far as I know, Schwarzenegger's okay, and he didn't really do much damage to the Terminator. So,
yeah,
so he's okay. I'm reporting that now.
I read that Stan Lee didn't get to see Endgame before he passed, which is kind of sad. Like I said, it's just been a bummer week, with Tim Conway, Stanton Friedman passing away, Doris Day, and Grumpy Cat. It's like, why don't you just stab me in the stomach while you're at it? It's like people were dropping like flies this week. Yeah, it's getting warm in here again.
So your Wednesday wasn't a pleasant one?
Wednesday was fine. We're doing this thing, Spaceboy and I, where we meet after work and we go to Dave & Buster's and just hang out, play some games. I was impressed with myself and you. I went from having like 100 tickets to, or maybe even less than that, to over 1,200 tickets in under an hour. So that's kind of fun. We found some games I enjoyed playing that I'd never played before. Like I said, because we do, I don't know if we're hardcore nerds or not, but you and I will sit in our recliners and we'll watch YouTube videos. We'll watch other people playing games. We won't play them, but we'll watch other people we'll watch other people play coin pushers.
Honestly, I look at it as an education. I mean, it's a strange education, to say the least.
Yeah, you
but,
like what you like.
I watched those coin pusher videos, and I took what I learned from the Star Trek coin pusher and applied it to the Dave and Buster's.
Well, you're studying it. I'm actually watching.
I know you're watching it for the fun of it.
No, I'm watching the Japanese ones because you think that we have cool arcade games here. You don't know nothing about arcade games unless you're in Japan.
You want a seizure? Go play a coin pusher game over there.
Oh my gosh, their arcade games are just there's like 80 different things going on at one time, and lights and music and talking, and I was watching this one channel's coin pusher game because it's in Japan. This coin pusher pushes the coins off the top, and if it sits idle for a while, I think, and no one's playing it, it'll start creating towers of tokens or coins, whatever's in there. I can't tell if that's their currency or if it's tokens, because I can't make out what's on the coin. But it'll start building these really intricately, tightly woven towers of coins, and then it starts pushing them forward. And your goal is to push them over, and I'm guessing either you get those coins or it gives you some kind of return ticketing system. And it's just like, why am I wasting my life watching this? I don't know. But the other thing I like, and I think you like it because you will watch it with me, and I've been watching it for the last year or two, is it's an original web series on YouTube. Season 1 is on Amazon Prime, but it's exclusively Season 2 is on YouTube Premium, and that is something called Another Dirty Room, where this guy takes an older gentleman and then 2 young guys, and they go and look for motel rooms by their
this is starting to sound
rating.
like a porn thing.
Well, no. Well, they go and find what the ratings are for certain motels around the country, and it's like, oh, this has got bad reviews. Let's go check it out. And they go and they check in, and all they do is they review the room. They pull the sheets off. They pull the mattress up. They look under, and it's just like, don't watch this show while you're eating. Oh my gosh. And they had the season finale for season 2 last night on YouTube. And I think that was one of the worst motel rooms. And it was in Florida, of all places. And it was a budget inn. And it was just, it looked like they had rented 2 jail cells. It really did. And it was just like, we were trying to eat dinner, and it was like, they're showing all these roaches and, all these things running around, and organic stains, from humans everywhere. And I don't know why, but that fascinates me. And it makes me never, ever want to stay.
Human?
Well, the fact that there's these disgusting places, they get away with it, and they're still in business. Especially this place that they looked at last night. And it was one of these places, they're up front on the site. They say, if you come here and you stay here and you get a room, you need to wash your own sheets. You can take the sheets off the bed and you go wash them yourself. They don't even provide the most basic linen service. I was like, holy smokes, why don't they get shut down?
If I stayed at the one that we watched last night,
my goodness,
I would have put off a bug bomb in that place. And then 2, after that, I would have come back and mopped the floors.
Well, he said they rented 2 rooms. One room had double beds, and one room had 1 king. So they did the king bed room second, and he said, if I had to stay in this room, I would leave here and I'd go to the store and I would buy some Mr. Clean, and I would mop out me an area over here on the floor, and then I would surround myself in a ring of diatomaceous earth because of the roaches that were running around, and I would just camp out in this little circle on the floor. And he said, well, would you stay here for $1 million overnight? He's like, heck yeah. He goes, would you do it for $250? He says, no way. So everyone's got a price. But this first season or series of that show is on Amazon Prime. The current one that just ended, season 2, is on YouTube, but you have to be paying for your YouTube subscription to see it. It's under the premium. But we do. So
It is? Really?
it is. You can't see it unless you're, because they're saying it's original content put out by, So, but it's really disgusting but entertaining because Dan Bell, who does it, he's probably closer to our age but younger, and then Rick is definitely slightly older than us. Maybe he's in 50s and 60s, and then he has these two.
Well, hold on just a second. Do you realize what you just said? And knowing that my birthday in November, I turned 50.
Yeah, because you're obsessed with it. I think Rick's probably in his 60s.
I was going to say he's probably in his 60s.
I think Rick must have been a former health inspector because he knows his stuff really well.
Mm-hmm.
He knows all the official terms, and he tells you this happens because of this, and they don't put this in place, and they need to install that. And then he has these two skinny, scared, young 20-something Canadian kids, Brendan and I can't remember the other one's name, but they're tiny little 20-year-old kids, but they have their own YouTube production channels where they do the same thing. They do sort of documentary level videos where they go to abandoned places and they do the same thing. So Dan Bell brought them in to be like Brendan does the inspecting and he has the other guy be his backup camera guy. And it's just really gross and entertaining. I guess I don't explain it better than that. But you can, I think the other one is on Amazon Prime, the first one where he had Will. It was just him, Will, and Rick. And he's changed it up.
I guess, what do you know what happened to Will? Or?
No, I never dug deep into that. It just could be that he was ready to move on. I think he had a real job, He came up with a show idea and a show name, Another Dirty Room. And then, I guess, Dan just like, oh, that's a good idea. I guess I'll produce it, But Dan also does those urban exploration of, like, abandoned buildings. He has a few that are pretty good. And he'll do a few, like, exploratory documentaries, like, something happened here one night. We're going to go check it out. There was an incident. We don't know anything about it. And he went to Arkansas to hang out in the dark where supposed Bigfoot cryptids had been, this is like Boggy Creek stuff, had been. And he said, nothing happened, but you watch that video, they did get freaked out because he said, I didn't know Arkansas was going to be this dark at night. I didn't know it was going to be, there were going to be these noises, and I didn't know there was going to be creepy stuff, like they were near one of those old oil field pumps for oil, but it wasn't running, and they didn't know it was there. It's like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, that's like seeing a relic, But South Arkansas, North Louisiana had a bunch of those. Well, there's Morgan City, Oil City, Louisiana. That's why those are on the maps, because they had oil fields. Same with Southern Arkansas. They had those too. But those were enjoyable because they freaked themselves out. It was just two guys alone in the dark. And they were trying to do the Bigfoot call that they were told. And they did that. And it's just amazing. It's funny how your own mind is your worst enemy when there's nothing else around and you're alone in the dark outside. But I think being outside, at least you stand a better chance because you've got somewhere to run, whereas you'd be trapped in a house or a building.
Being chased by something that may be 8 to 13 feet tall.
Yeah, I should stop listening to those stories at night. I really should. But they kind of fascinate me because it focuses my mind on the story. That way I can just fall asleep.
Well, in all fairness, I'm usually listening to like some kind of aliens or,
same thing.
Movie
That's
stuff. Yeah.
Like
stories based upon the alien universe.
Right, which is not exactly soothing or relaxing. Chest bursters and aliens coming to get you and things like that there. But I don't know what it is about listening to like Skinwalker and cryptids, and I guess it's because I don't worry about those things. I don't believe in them. I don't have a problem listening to them. But I listened to some the other night that was, it said it was skinwalker stories, but it wasn't. It was like people out camping or in the dark or hunting or in the woods. And it was different. One of them was just being stalked by a mountain lion. That's all it was. And they knew it was a mountain lion. And they just got away. They just calmly just waited till the mountain lion said, I'm not going any further than this. And they got to their car. And then it ranged to the one where this guy said he saw a 23-foot tall being that was sort of tree-like. And it scared some cows away. And then just... and of course the skinwalker stuff, which is pretty consistent because it's a legend. It's a Native American legend, but
you keep cutting out.
I can't help that. It's not. I'm not doing anything to make myself cut in and out.
Point the mic towards you instead of having it at that
Well,
angle.
I don't have anything to say right now, so I don't feel like I need to be near the mic.
You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
I should probably try to remember some of these stories, but
I'll double your salary.
Oh, I'm going to go from making 0 to 0. Awesome. But I know that most of these stories are just creepy pastas. They're not real. Although they'll say, here's a story from so-and-so, and they'll just say the first name and their last initial. Like somebody sent the story in. Maybe they did, but project your voice to rank. I don't even want to be here, Dino.
Come on, be nice as long as you can.
I don't feel like I've got anything to say. I didn't do any prep work. I've had a kind of a crummy week, and I just I'm just waiting for the time to spin out so we can go to bed.
Well, I know that Patrick sent me an interesting article here that if the bad guys get a hold of this tech, watch out. This type of tech could create some serious chaos and I'm reading from the email, so some serious chaos in our lives. Imagine all the work celebrities could lose, or people who do voice work, or the machine uses your voice in a crime or to acquire info from loved ones, thinking that it's you. Like personal drones, this type of tech could do more harm than good. And then you talk about this startup unveils system that can mimic celebrity voices with startling accuracy.
That's just what we need.
Well, if it's anything like the tech that I saw at the Adobe thing, I've been wanting to get my hands on it.
Yeah, because that would free me up, and I don't have to be here. You get all my voice sampled, and you can make me say anything. That's going to be a dream come true for you. But that scares me.
Why does it scare you?
Because then you can fabricate evidence. Like, oh, so-and-so said this. I never said that, but it's your voice. Or so somebody thinks. Speaking of that, like AI and whatnot, I showed you a clip. This really happened. Is some random person out there in the world got a hold of a bot, which is I'm calling like an AI program, and they forced this bot to listen to 100 hours of Olive Garden commercials that you'd see on TV. And they said, listen to these commercials and then write me an Olive Garden commercial based on what you've learned. And the result was freaking hilarious. I might could find the text from it because it's on Reddit, and I don't know much about Reddit. Let's see if I can find it. I found part of it, but it's not the entire. This guy said he forced a bot to watch over 1,000 hours of Olive Garden commercials, then asked it to write an Olive Garden commercial on its own. And yeah, the first page was pretty darn funny. It reads like surrealist poetry. We like pasta nachos. They're warm and defeated. Lasagna wings with extra Italy. We see the lasagna wings. There's more Italy than needed. I shall eat Italian citizens. Unlimited stick. We see the unlimited stick. It is infinite. It is all. Leave without me. I'm home. Gluten Classico from the kitchen. Gluten Classico. We believe the waitress is the kitchen. We have no reason not to believe. Friend 4. What is wrong, Friend 4? Friend 4 smiles wide, her mouth full of secret soup. It's really wacky. I love it. I love that kind of humor. So, I got that watching some live meme streams on YouTube. But, what you got over there?
You know, I'm just catching up on emails here that have come in, and you know, unfortunately, I don't read emails as we're doing the show. And
do people still email each other anymore? Because I so don't look at emails at all.
I think it's just you're sick to death because you're dealing with emails all day at work, like I am.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Well, you know, working with desktop support, you know, I get tired of looking at emails because I'm bombarded by emails, at least 100 emails a day.
And I infer a snarky attitude. Every email comes in, I'm like, oh, this person hates me. I'm pretty sure that's probably not the case, but it feels like it, you know. You know, like I read into things, but I'm looking for content here. Yeah, I don't care about a lot of things that have just ended. Yeah, don't care about that. Don't care about that. I've never seen Black Mirror. I've heard it's good.
There's a episode of Black Mirror that it's kind of like a Star Trek episode.
Notice you didn't ask Bill about the Orville. If he's
Well,
seen it, watched it.
I need to deal with your coworker first on that issue.
Yeah. I forget to tell him that you've got a bone to pick with him.
So everybody, the Orville has been renewed for a third season, and pretty exciting news for those fans of the Orville, and for those haters. Well, you really should give it a chance. It's actually a halfway decent Star Trek show that's not Star Trek.
He's talking to me, but I refuse to engage. He knows my feelings and why I won't look at it. We won't rehash that here.
I mean, it's it's an uphill climb to try to get her to watch anything that I recommend.
Well, it's difficult to watch things when books exist, because as long as there's books, I'm going to be more interested in that.
Meredith Burgess.
I know. You want me to break my glasses so I can't. If I break my glasses, I can't see the TV.
Well, you could stand up and get close to it.
No, that wouldn't work because I get tired. It'd have to be on the phone. The last thing that I got into, and it was on my own, it was my idea, and you wrote along, was One Punch Man on Netflix. So,
I wrote along because I like animation like that.
And I found the story to be enjoyable. Had a little quirkiness and humor and actual story and development. And then they only had season 1, and I'm like, okay, well, that's that. And now we go back to our regularly scheduled lives.
Well, Solana, I hope you've been blessed by this program tonight.
The parts where I weren't talking, yes.
And Mr. Announcer, can you do your thing?
We hope you have enjoyed the show.
So on that magical note, we'll go ahead and wrap it up now, and we will look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Good night, my sweet space cadets.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Executive producer is Sir Lana. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.